And it's completely justified them being upset about it.
I'm a bird, I'm a bird.
Ubisoft just screwed Star Wars Outlaws player big time.
Star Wars Outlaws had to get patched already because of a game-breaking bug that is requiring players to restart their entire playthrough. Imagine that you were playing Star Wars Outlaws this week and you already had 8 hours sunk into this game. And you reach a game-breaking bug in the game that doesn't allow you to progress any further. And once you patch it, you have to start your game all over. But on top...
The game already looks really mediocre. Very extended, annoying cutscenes there.
Yeah.
There's like so much nonsense at the beginning. And imagine having to redo all of it all over.
On top of that, you paid for early access. So this whole ability to play before everybody else means absolutely nothing. You shilled out $130 for a game that was made with low quality to play it early, and you're forced to start over, essentially negating the whole point of even playing early, because you're going to be playing a playthrough when everybody else begins. That's Ubisoft for you guys. That's the problem with Ubisoft quality.
Like, I don't want to hear people saying this game is good. Like, besides how the animation is just not on par with 2024 and such a big company, the fact that it has such critical bugs, it's not acceptable.
In video
It's
games,
not.
$130 for a game that is a glitch fest. And this patch supposedly didn't even fix everything wrong with the game. A lot of people are still saying there's a lot of unplayable areas, glitches, bugs, you name it. And
That's
I guess
just
that's to be
disgusting.
expected with an open world game. But this bug that was encountered should have been cleared by Ubisoft well in advance if they're going to be offering a 3-day early access. Ridiculous. So I'm going to pull up a tweet. This is by Pirate Nation, who got an email about it.
I am genuinely, besides the whole wokeism that's happening and all the isms, I am so tired of this AAA companies releasing games way too early in a stage where it's unplayable.
It says Star Wars Outlaws patch 1.000.002 is forcing PS5 players to start new saves. And here's the email.
Yeah.
Here's the email. To best experience the Outer Rim, we rolled out a maintenance to make sure everyone is playing the latest version of the game. As one of the players affected who had access to an older version of the game, we are aware you might be encountering some issues after this recent patch. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. To solve this issue, please make sure you're playing the new version. Here's how to check it. So it tells you how to do it. It says, once you confirmed you have the latest version, please start a new save to fully enjoy Star Wars Outlaws as our team intended. If you continue on a prior save, you will unfortunately face issues and progression blockers. Oh, dear God.
What?
This is
Dear
bad.
God. And people are rightfully upset and pissed off at this, guys. People...
And it's completely justified them being upset about it. You pay over $100 for a subpar mediocre game, and on top of that, not only it has some game breaking bugs, on top of that they push a patch where you literally lose all your progress. Not only that, they categorize themselves as quadra A game.
Pissed right off with reasonable reason on it. Star Wars Outlaws is quickly becoming the biggest disappointment in recent gaming history, y'all. This is the Star Wars franchise attached to it. And at first I was excited for this game because I was like, all right, an open world Star Wars game. Then it was Ubisoft. Then I was like, all right, I'm a little hesitant, but I'll give them a try. I liked Valhalla. Then you started to see all the nonsense with the DEI with this company and Assassin's Creed Shadows and some of the community manager for Star Wars Outlaws hating white men. So then I'm like, oh, God. And then you see the exclusive gameplay from IGN that just looked terrible with the explosion, that all of my hype for this is basically negated. Now, am I still going to check it out? Probably, just so I can laugh about it on stream with you guys and get a chuckle.
I'll play Dustborn for you guys because I don't have a choice. I have to now. But I'm not gonna play this. Like, there's so many games I want to play. We calculated today how big my library is of all the games I have, and it's almost 500 games.
Yes.
I have so many amazing games I can stream for you, and on top of that, we have in September a new Warhammer game dropping, and in November we have the new Path of Exile dropping.
Cool. But yeah, it's no surprise why this game is failing. Ubisoft's latest attempt at pushing their woke agenda has resulted in a game that is not only tanking or failing to captivate, I guess, the Star Wars player base, but it's also riddled again with these glitches, these game-breaking bugs, and, you know, this so-called next big thing in the whole Star Wars franchise, right? This was the open world game we've been wanting, is losing players at an alarming rate. Especially when you're getting this email, hey guys, start a patch, but you're going to have to start a brand new save file. Really? And it's almost like Ubisoft's priorities are seriously misplaced when it comes to making
It is
games.
misplaced.
Very misplaced.
Like, they're more worried about checking off, DEI checkboxes so they get ESG points than actually making a game. Imagine being told to start from scratch to avoid issues and progression blockers. This is like a game they've been working on for years, guys. A game they've been working on years. And if you paid for early access, again, you're paying full price, like $130, just to be told that you have to start over because the developers couldn't bother to get it right the first time when putting it out. Ubisoft is nothing but a complete mess in regards to this.
It is.
Like, can this company do something right in
They've
2024?
been bad
Can
for a
they?
long time.
Instead of catering to this modern audience that doesn't exist, can they do something right? I don't know. It seems like they...
What's up with this trend with the big studios? They get big, they completely lose touch, and in the end, they hemorrhaging money and blame the player base for not wanting to waste their money on a game that's mediocre at best.
Can't. It seems like they're just... It's almost like they're
What
doing this
the
on
fuck?
purpose. Are they
What the fuck was that?
What was that?
When your scuffed Peter Barbado has better tracking than the fucking Quadra A studio lizard.
trying to tank this company? I don't get it. And even then, with this patch, it doesn't guarantee a smooth experience, right? Because there's a lot of people saying that they're still approaching glitches and bugs and stuff that haven't been addressed yet. And this isn't a minor inconvenience, guys. This is like a major oversight as far as quality control goes. Imagine charging $130 and putting out a game that isn't even properly developed or complete.
Imagine being worse than Fat Shark on release day.
Should have been caught long before the game was released. Long before it. And Ubisoft has a history of making buggy games. It's like they don't care. There's no quality control here. Star Wars Outlaws is taking it to a whole new level, though. We showed some glitches the other day, and this game is completely broken. There's going to be another patch coming, and who knows if this next patch is going to require you to have to start a new game on top of this newest game that you just started, right?
You didn't know?
Yeah, anyways, looking at
Every patch.
the whole thing,
Every
it is
patch
getting
is not a new
laughed
game.
off of Twitter. You can see
I'm sorry, this is just awesome.
Conphoebe, the Commie Crusher, says, fucking pathetic, Ubisoft. You're worthless communist dog fuckers.
Huh?
What?
Deo says, another company turning to shit. Cloaked Onyx says, refund it. Kurt says, it's early access. There'll be issues. This is what to expect when getting early access. It's a chance you take. Sometimes it goes okay. Sometimes
No,
issues are just...
absolutely no. Kurt, I'm sorry, but you need to touch grass. Even when it's early access, it still needs to be playable to a point where you don't lose all your fucking progress.
need to be fixed. Again, I think that's damage controlling for them. You're putting a game $130 early access. It better run right. Right? So they're getting pretty heated in the comments. Even Reddit was talking about this email that they had. Ridiculous. You're saying people wish that they knew about this before they played 5 hours last night. This game is testing their patience. They should have figured that out beforehand. Not even a mention of compensation since we paid for 3-day early access. People saying early access is a scam. At least suicide.
we reached a point where we don't expect no glitches in games. We just want it at least to be playable and not lose everything.
Squad had the decency to give people in-game currency for their initial server issues. Pretty sure the delay would be on Sony. I could be wrong, but they have been known to be a little slow with patches compared to other platforms. So maybe this is a Sony issue. I don't know. Regardless of which, it's all fucking retarded. And you can just see all these comments, people blasting it. People blasting it, saying they've seen people say they've started over and still have the issue. Hopefully the majority, it works fine. And you think of all the other games that have come throughout the years, not just Ubisoft, but like Cyberpunk, when that first came out. People are out here confused now. Can anyone further ahead verify you get stuck on an old save? Not dev warnings, actual player verification. I'm 7 hours in and don't want to restart. I would be furious.
Yeah.
I would be absolutely
understandable
furious unless the game was fucking fantastic, which it's been getting mixed reactions at this point in time.
Stunning.
So
Okay.
again, to clarify what this bug is, guys, it's completely broken when you're trying to leave and re-enter planets. All right? So you get stuck. Multiple reports are from frustrated players on the Star Wars subreddit have confirmed that this is the same old story with all of them. Like, it's a big issue, and even after this patch, the game remains unplayable. Right?
This.
Jeez.
Now, let's look at this article that covered it out pretty good. This is on that park place that talks about it in more detail. It says, basically, you see right here, you're stuck in space after a certain mission. This email talked about game progression blockage. They didn't specify, but the email said to start a new save file. So there's a mission in the game that basically gets you stuck. One of the core components of actual Star Wars is space travel. And the game doesn't let you go on. So it says it triggers anytime you go to space. If you're before the mission false flag, that mission will trigger the bug. Since you're to go to space to a space station, do things, leave, then come back to Toshara. The game won't let you, no matter how close you get to the planet.
Wait, so this is just a few hours into the game. Before the game is even available for like public testing or even early access, there are official testers who are supposed to run this game and play it.
Yeah.
What the hell happened? How? It's not like 100 hours in or 50 hours in. It's less than 10 hours in that it happened. So my question is, did they waste all their money on the consultancy agencies rather than testers?
Any subsequent space travel, even in free roam without a quest, will also trigger the bug if you're still playing on your 1.0 save. And this goes on to say that the game breaking bug should have been caught beforehand and the game never should have been shipped or sold. In fact, Ubisoft CEO V's Guillemot was questioned about the game's quality and whether the company would delay the release of the game to fix a number of issues gamers noticed in a 10-minute gameplay trailer. They made it very clear the game was not going to be delayed. And their exact quote was, the game has gone gold, so the date is well confirmed for August 13th. And as you mentioned, we'll be showcasing more content of a very high quality. So they basically just shrugged it off. They shrugged off the concerns that were in that 10-minute exclusive gameplay video that we saw from IGN.
That's crazy.
What a fucking mess, guys. And you know what? On top of that, all these bugs isn't the only thing driving gamers away. As you've seen on the channel, the main character, Kay Vess, is basically a bland, ugly, uninspiring protagonist who looks nothing like the model. We've talked about this countless times.
Okay. I said it before, I'll say it again. Of YouTubers saying that the model needs to look like the voice actress. No, it does not fucking have to look like the voice actress. She's a voice actress. End of the story. Stop asking for the character to look like the voice actress. Do I think the character sucks? 100%. After them constantly complaining there needs to be more representation, it looks like they slapped in just some white looking Karen. But the character absolutely does not need to look like the fucking voice actress. Yesterday, I sat and modded the stream for Dev. he was streaming Star Wars Outlaw because his community wanted to see that. And it was bad. Like, there's like absolutely no story. It's empty. And they couldn't even make the basic shit of making the character likable. Like, I literally don't even remember the story.
Want attractive females in their games, guys. It's to be more than to be more politically correct. They don't want to offend anybody by having a sexy feminine character. Yeah, I know it sounds retarded. They want this whole thing for characters to be more relatable instead of being.
But how do they explain that? Fine, so the character looks like a basic white Karen, but how do you explain the writing then? How did you fail to make even the character, the protagonist, so forgettable? Like, how do they explain that?
Being engaging, right? When I play a video game or watch a movie, I don't need to relate to the character that I'm watching on screen. I want to be entertained. So Ubisoft,
Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like these studios, they forget that people who play games, they want to be entertained. They don't want to be bored to death with their agendas.
has this obsession with DEI right now, and it's led to Star Wars Outlaws being a game that feels more like a checklist of progressive ideals, as well as Assassin's Creed Shadows. And instead of being an immense Star Wars experience, there's already diversity in Star Wars, guys. There's all sorts of creatures, all sorts of different types of things like Jedi and scoundrels and bounty hunters, droids, Sith. There's all sorts of diversity over there. But no, we have to make sure our boxes are checked for DEI points, right? It's clear that Ubisoft's focus was pandering to this modern audience again that doesn't show up monetarily. They don't buy anything, guys. Where's this modern audience? Instead of creating a good game that's actually fun to play, and all these left-leaner wokies are like, oh, you right-wing grifters are just crying that you don't have.
If any of you watched the gameplay itself, how the characters move when it's outside of the cutscene, like in the cutscenes itself, they move very stiff, right? Outside of the cutscene, it's even worse. In the game itself, they look like they literally have a rod from their ass to their neck.
Jerk off material. No, the reviews are speaking for itself, guys. I talked about this. I said that it's having mixed reactions across the board. IGN gave it a 7 out of 10, which I still feel is a little bit too gracious, right? Greg Miller of Kind of Funny Games actually called it a 4 out of 10, which seems a little bit more honest. And yeah, you think about how they withheld review codes until like 6 days before. I guess they didn't want reviewers getting a hold of this game and getting a significant amount of time to where they would reach a game-breaking bug and bury this. Barely gave critics any time to play and post their reviews. I mean, imagine getting your review like a Friday and having to play over the weekend when you should be having time off from work, right? And it's retarded. So yeah, I think Star Wars Outlaws is definitely a prime example of what happens when a game's more focused on the wrong things instead of actually making a game that wanted to be woke and inclusive, instead of actually developing something that doesn't have a game-breaking bug to where when it's patched, you have to start over a brand new game. Fucking unreal, guys. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts down below. Subscribe.
Yeah, no, this game is just a complete embarrassment.